I don't define drag. Drag is... Hi, thanks for checking out this video. I'm Ava, I'm a drag queen, I do all sorts of looks, you can find them on my channel, but today I'm doing a look from season 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race. It's the second look I'm doing from this season. I think it's from the third episode, but I'm doing Aquaria. The runway was the feather runway, and so I wanted to look at a look that I thought I liked the most and try and recreate it on me, and also show you how it's done and how you too can achieve this look. So, here's that. Some updates on me. Wow, thanks for asking. I think I did my roots. I don't remember if my roots were done when I was last here. I think I probably had like the grey hair that was like fading to like a miserable green or something, but no, I'm blonde just in time for summer, because it is summer. Over the last week, it suddenly just got really hot. Like, it went from like cold and rain to like so hot. Oh my god, like I don't even have like a summer wardrobe ready or anything like that. Like, and in these hot days it is important to remember to stay hydrated, if for no other reason than it helps your skin look good, and that means you look prettier. And because I'm doing a video, I had to like turn off all the background noise, so there's no like the windows aren't open, my fan isn't on, so it's like so hot in here, but I wanted to be quiet, so I've got my fan with me. She's vintage. And it smells like a museum. I think it's French or something. So anyway, first things first, get the hair out the face. If you watch some of my other videos, you'll know it's like a pet peeve of mine. It's like people on YouTube, I don't want to say like YouTubers, but people on YouTube who do like makeup and stuff who don't put their hair out their face. I guess because it's like makeup videos is their money maker and it's how people see them all the time. They just don't want to scrape their hair back and look like ugly. So they end up just getting like hair in their face, makeup in their hair. Bothers me. It bothers me. Okay, is this too close? I don't know. Also, one fun thing I did, I've got a lamp behind me to offer some like backlight, and just look how it looks against my hair. Like, whoa. So if you're wondering what that all effect is and why maybe this video looks a little bit better than the rest of my other videos, that's why. Anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna zoom out actually again. I'm acting so like brand new. So for starters, it's just the normal standard base routine, or like drag base routine. So for me that involves priming first, so woo! I use a mixture of 2 primers because I'm indecisive. Make sure your hands and your face are clean and get going. Okay, now that that's done, it's time to glue the brows down. You will know how to glue brows down, and if you don't, I have many videos where I talk about it. I don't think I'm going to bore you with those details this time. I have a drag 101 where I talk about gluing brows down though. Check out any of my other videos, but for now, here's my new technique how we glue brows down. It literally takes 2 seconds. Watch. Ta-da! Have I ever looked more beautiful? Not even joking. Have I? Okay, so the brows are covered. You may notice that it's a little bit more orange than the rest of me, but that's because I use something that's technically a contour colour to counteract the blue tones of the actual eyebrows that are under there somewhere. But now I'm going to go in with my base colour, which is the good old Krylon TV paint stick in 1W. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to do what I like to do, which is where I get my white 070 paint stick and I just place all of the highlights before the base. And that way I don't have to do like base, then highlight, then contour. If I just do the highlight, it saves me having to put the base there and then the highlight on top. And Aquaria does have a very defined, like, contoured face, so I'm not going to shy away from highlighting. See, now at this point, I'd normally highlight the brow bone, but she doesn't have eyebrows in this look, but she's also got a very forlorn eye, so very sad. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do kind of the brow bone highlights, but I'm going to start from up here, and then just kind of bring it down, because we don't want, like, a brow bone, like a fierce brow bone. We're not doing that, we're going for more of a sad look, so I'm going to be highlighting more in like a triangle fashion. Now I don't usually like to highlight my jaw because I think it makes my jaw look stronger than it is, but Aquaria has a strong jaw and I think a slightly like longer face than me, so I'm just going to like do something like that. Okay, now just fill in all of the blank space with this. This is the main reason we use the primer, because like you can just feel it when you're putting this on your skin. This is no good for your skin at all. I mean, I know some people who use this as a day-to-day foundation, and like, props to them, but I could never. While we're at this messy stage, I'm going to quickly throw in some contour. Just going to take a generic contour colour from my palette, use some foundation brush or something, and just like, paint it on. Aquaria doesn't seem to over-contour that much. She's got a very modern face in that it's very kind of light and soft, but still like sculpted enough, so I'm going to just do a little bit of, you know, a little something. I'm not going to contour my chin quite as much as I normally do either, because she has a stronger chin than me, and if I'm going for an Aquaria look, I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to do a strong chin highlight. Suggest and fill in the spaces, fix it later. Throw the product down, just plot it down, mark your territory, kind of abstractly plan ahead, like a fine oil painting. And of course the nose contour. Beautiful. Good old fashioned blender. Mine's nice and dirty. And blend her away. So when I get to the light areas, what I do is I flip my blender around, because I have one that I use for like darker, one I use for lighter. So even though it probably doesn't make that much of a difference, it's important to kind of, like, I specifically place these colours in these places for a reason. So I'm not going to just blend it all the way equally. I am going to kind of still maintain the territories. If you want to know more about the specific ins and outs of kind of like how I like to contour and highlight, and perhaps what each thing means, what it does, like say how to subtly make yourself look more snatched or whatever, check out my Drag 101 on contouring and highlighting, and I talk a lot, very in depth, about how contour and highlight can change your face, the things to do to your face, and it's just very educational, informative experience, and I think more people should watch. Do you want to know what little dream of mine would be? It was just to be able to make money from YouTube to the point where it pays for itself, and then I can comfortably just keep doing this without worrying, but I mean, I suppose everyone wants to be able to just do what they like without worrying, but you know. YouTube is a place that is full of a lot of successful mediocrity, and I kind of want in on that. I take extra care when I'm blending over the covered eyebrows, because you don't want to kind of disturb that, so I want to just I definitely want to tap it in and press it in and kind of remind my eyebrows to stay down. And of course, don't forget to blend down the neck. Okay, and the base is done. Now it's time for the details. I'm going to do the contouring before I do the highlighting, so back with this guy. Draw on a cheekbone. That's a cheekbone. So actually where I'm drawing this is just above my cheekbone. My hollow cheekbone is like here. So technically I'm drawing this on like the high points of my face, but I do think this is going to help give me a really, I mean, you can already kind of tell. It's making my cheekbones look higher, and it makes my jaw look longer. Not something I like to do for the purposes of facial feminization, but I'm trying to look more like Aquaria here, so I'm doing the things she does. I know the brush I'm using is probably a bit too big for this, but it's just to plot it down, and I'm going to clean it up later. Most of the nose detail is done with the highlight colour anyway, and of course do that little strip across. Woo. Now I've done it too big, but we are going to blend all of this away, and hopefully actually kind of darken the nose, because then when I get to draw on that white highlight, it's going to like really stand out and look cool. I'm actually going to contour my forehead a bit more, because she seems to have a very contoured forehead, and I seem to have quite a big forehead, so it works for all of us. And now that the contour's blended away, time to go back in and reinforce the highlights in the most highlighted places, which for me is the cheeks, maybe the forehead and the chin, and the nose. I'm also going to do above the lip, because Aquaria does a very like lip. Now I'm blending this, but I'm not going to blend it as vigorously or as hard. I'm going to lightly blend it away, so the white is still there. It doesn't spread as much. Last time I did a Ms. Cracker makeup tutorial, so technically this is my second Aquaria makeup tutorial. Okay, and now that that's done, it's time to set all of this face with kind of a base colour, but also reinforce the highlights and contours as we're doing it, just so as not to lose all this work we've just done. And that is why before I set the whole thing, my first order of business is to take a light powder and just set under my eyes to keep that area looking nice and bright. This is a really satisfying part of the makeup for me, because you kind of feel all sticky and wet and moist. So it's kind of satisfying to just kind of be able to set all of that with powder. Okay, and now that we're all set, I'm just going to put that light powder back under the eyes, just so it can bake. Now I'm going to set the contour with a bronzing contouring powder. All very standard, just kind of drag face rituals. Darken the dark bits and lighten the light bits. Marry the colours together by blending them together like this. Okay, and honestly, I think it's time for the eyes now, because we can do the nose as we're doing the eyes. Okay, so my starting point, which to be honest I don't actually see that many people do, so maybe it's the illustrator in me, but what I like to do is I like to take a pencil, whether it's a nude one or colour similar to the colour I'm going to be using. I like to then draw on what's going to happen. I'm going to draw on my crease, the eyeliner, etc. So I know where the eyeliner is going to go roughly. It's going to be pretty much on my eyelid, so the crease can start around about where my eyebrow is, and the highest bit of the crease is going to be in the middle, because it's a very sorry, sad eye, which is becoming a theme for me lately. So I'm just going to draw on. It is actually right over where my real eyebrows are, like that. Do you see? Should I zoom in? I'ma zoom in. Okay, so there's the main part of the crease, and then it'll just come back down like this. To about like there. The eyeliner is going to be like here, there's going to be a flick up here, and then in between that flick and this crease, normally this crease would connect back to the wing. That's not going to happen this time though. There's going to be a slight little absence of space between that. And right now what I'm drawing on is very like, despite all this powder, it's very like gooey because of the like eyebrow glue underneath or whatever, so again, you want to be very careful when you're drawing on top of your glued down eyebrows. I think I prefer how this one's looking actually. They're both pretty much similar though, and when I come into doing the eyeshadow, I'm going to just like fix it, so they don't have to be like perfect right now. We're just kind of getting an idea. And also I'm going to draw the lower eyeliner, which is just from the outer corner and then goes down. Kind of something like that. This is really hard to do on me though, because I've got these really like bulgy eyes. Like you can just see my entire eyeball here, so it's hard for me to really draw like a straight line from like here to here, because then it just kind of gets lost in my eyeball. But I'm gonna try. Okay, so now I'm going to take a red eyeshadow and just put that over the line, and then I'll blend it upwards. It seems to come in quite a bit on in this direction here, whereas like the blending is pretty normal along the way the whole thing, but here it looks like there's a lot of red, which is where the red gems are going to go. And it also goes onto the nose just ever so slightly. I always think it's funny as well when a queen paints themselves sad and then they have like some emotional moment or something, or like an argument, or like say when Kimchi did that sad black and white face and then was crying on the runway and everyone was like, oh, she looks so sad, and I'm like, she would have looked sad anyway, she painted a sad face on. So what I'm doing is I'm taking, this is the brush that comes with the Urban Decay palette, but it's got a smaller end, so I'm just taking a smaller end with more red on it, and I'm just kind of going along the line in that, and also just trying to tidy up the line. Even though I do intend to tidy up this line with like a white eyeshadow when I colour in my like fake lid, it's just nice to kind of keep it clean as I go. And it's important to remember as well, we are going to be using black eyeliner, and so the dark colours will make anything here, because right now the red stands out a lot against like this like white base. When I put black eyeliner on, the red isn't going to stand out as much as it does now, so it's important to keep that in mind and not worry if perhaps you think, oh, that red looks too strong, because the black is going to kind of tone it down almost. Now while I'm also here, I'm going to go back into the red eyeshadow, but then also slightly dip it into a purple, and then kind of draw on the like eye bags that she's got, which is just right here, because they're kind of like a bruise colour, but also kind of like red, so I added some purple in to make it look more like bruisey. I always like doing these, I feel like they kind of make me look cute. And we've also done it on top of the powder that we've got baking, so it is all probably going to dust off a bit, so another thing to keep in mind. Okay, and now after that I'm going to blend this out a bit, so I'm going to take a brush that doesn't have any eyeshadow on it, and I'm just kind of going to smudge the red out on the edges, just kind of diffuse it so it kind of blends into the skin more, rather than looking like a red shape on my face. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little tiny brush and my white paint stick, and I'm going to just kind of draw on where the white areas are before I put a white eyeshadow on them. So say I'm going to clean up this under eye. Not too much though, because the black is going to go here as well. So I may have done a little bit too much here, but that's fine because we can always go over it. But I'm really trying to get that like, that line, that straight white line that was under the eye, and really like cut this crease. See, it just makes it look more defined and fun, doesn't it? Okay, and then another thing while we've got this cream out is we are going to do the nose, which normally it's a big no-no, or get a no-nose, to put cream on top of powder, but sometimes cream just works better, so we're going to take this little brush and just go right down our nose. And then she has a very like light tip, so up there, yeah, about there. Not the straightest nose I've ever done. So here I took the nose contour up a bit because I wanted this bit of my face to be light as well. So then I'm just going to blend that out with actually a blender, just like that. I'm just going to and then I'm also going to very slightly blend the nose, but not too much because I don't want my nose to look bigger. Ever so slightly, like that. You can see it came out to the side a little bit here, so I'm going to cover that up with contour. It is all a very back and forth process, I admit and apologise. Okay, and now it's time to set all of what we just did with the white with a white eyeshadow. This is a kind of shimmery eyeshadow, which is fun. It's just fun. So I'm going to do under the eyes first, just press it on. Especially because I've got like a cream sitting on top of powder, I just feel like it can be very like temperamental, so whereas when I set it, it just tells it to stay put and behave. And then quickly down the nose. Definitely focusing on the tip because she likes to do that whole very highlighted tip. So in a dark room, you just look like a white dot that is the tip of your nose, and that's how people can tell where you are. Okay, and I'm just going to quickly go in with this kind of flat brush with a little bit of contour on it and just quickly go back down the side of my nose and reinforce the nose contour. There, look at that, this nose is looking snatched. And now I believe it is time for eyeliner. Actually, no, I tell a lie. I noticed in this whiter area, the eyelid crease thing, there's some like glistening going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some gold glitter there just before I add the eyeliner. I'll probably have to do a few passes with this because like it's not showing up as much as I wanted to. Because actually, let's just. It's not showing up as much as I wanted it to, but I'm honestly not that bothered. Maybe I'll use like an iridescent glitter because I know that one isn't blocked. I mean, I hope. Yeah, okay, so it's a mixture of gold and iridescent, but ooh, that's already like so much prettier, isn't it? It's a pretty standard drag eye. It's just like eyeliner on the top, extended on the inners, like so. I'm going to do it first, and then I'm probably going to like keep adding to it and making it like thicker, because I low-key want to cover my whole eyelid, just to kind of fill up some of this space. But we will see. It exaggeratedly flicks up rather than like being one shape across or one shape up. It looks like it goes like. Whoa! This feels really sore and rough because of the glitter. Maybe I should have done the glitter after the eyeliner. Right, I think it needs to be thicker here. Make it a more fierce wing. I think once I've got lashes on, that'll really help this look. Okay, I'm going to go back under the eyeliner with the reddy purple mixture just to kind of further intensify that. And I'm also going to fill in some of the white with that colour because I just don't think it all needs to be white. And I'm also going to actually intensify that under eye bag thing, but only in the inside bits. I'm not going to bring it out as long as I did before. Further intensify this red up here, and I actually added a tiny bit of purple to it, and I feel like the purple is going to kind of help cool the red down and make it look like a more possibly true red, because I feel like this red in the Urban Decay palette, which is slow burn, is definitely actually more of an orangey red, whereas Aquaria is wearing more of a cool kind of true blood red. Okay, and I'm quickly just going to go in with a liquid eyeliner and just kind of reinforce the most important parts of the eyeliner. I mean, already doesn't that just look so much better? Oh, there's a bit of my eyebrow hanging off. Oh boy. See, with those bits, I think it's best to just try and stick it back down. And I'm going to add some mascara because my eyelashes are looking very blonde. Now, unfortunately, I think I've gotten some mascara on the bottom lashes as well, but to be honest, it doesn't really ruin the look that much. If it can't be helped, don't worry. Now, my eyeliner looks a bit funny here because it looks like either some glitter's gone onto it or something. But when my eyes open, you can't really see. I don't really care. And it's like drag, so like, who cares? And what I'm going to do is with the under eye, the white bit, I'm going to take this like glitter liner and just quickly pin it on. Because I also find the glitter liner is good for cleaning up the eyeliner around it, while also making the white just kind of pop out a bit more. So she doesn't look like she's wearing like huge lashes, but I think I may. Okay, so while I'm sat here waiting for this glue to dry, I remembered there is still powder baking here, so I am going to just dust off any excess powder and see if that kind of helps clean me up a bit. Look how much nicer and like smoother everything looks. She looks like she's got them very much on the outside of her eye rather than the inside, so I'm gonna do that. The inner corner of the lash is always what gives me the most trouble as well. It always just likes to ping up and then make my whole eye look a bit wonky. So I'm really trying to glue it down, which, again, if you watched some of my other videos, you'll know, especially when I'm doing this eye, I actually can't see because my left eye is the eye I see out of. Okay. I recently cut these lashes up and did that whole like separated look to them, and I really like it. I think it makes them look really cool. They're still long, but they don't obstruct my eye makeup all that much. So like I'm really like pressing it on and then occasionally moving my fingers because I don't want the lash to like stick to my fingers, kind of like it just did then. Some people use tweezers. I think I tried once and I'm not ruling it out in the future, but my current opinion on tweezers is just like, ugh, that's fine. Now, I'm not 100% sure if Aquaria highlighted in this look, but she's a young queen, and you know, these days everyone is obsessed with highlighter, so I'm gonna highlight whether she does or not. I'm going to use the Revolution Vivid Baked Pearly one? I don't know, but it's like powdery one, I'm just gonna... You know, my cheeks can look like they're wet from all the crying I've been doing. We can zoom out now too. Pretty from afar, far from pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smaller brush that I like to use for highlighting more specific areas and just... There we go. And now, got a really pointy chin. I really like a chin highlight. I'm going to do the same to my nose, and perhaps where the eyebrows would go. She has a wider cupid's bow than me, but also not as defined, so I'm just going to draw a line across above my lip, quite a bit above because she has much bigger lips than me. The top lip's almost touching her nose, so... like that. And then it comes down here. She does overdraw the outer corners just a bit. I'm going to slightly lift it up because that is a technique she does. Not so much anymore, but ever so slightly, because she also has a wider mouth than me. And the bottom lip as well, she has a bigger bottom lip than me, and that just goes around across about the same size as the top lip, so... Okay, and there's lips, and now I'm going to just slightly colour them in, but then I'm going to fill it in with lipstick. She has a gradient from like this purple to a red. It's quite a dark red though, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a purpley red colour, and I'm going to paint that on with like a lip brush, and then just like blend the two together. I also really like using a lip brush because it's a really good way to kind of really clean up the outside, the outline of the lip. I never used to use it, but then I started and I was like, oh, it actually really does help. Even if you're using like a sharp pencil, sometimes going over it with a brush can just really like help. And we're using matte colours so that the reflection of, say, a glossy lipstick doesn't reveal our real lip shape. Okay, and now it's time to fill in the middle with a red. Now that I've put that there, I'm going to take this brush and just quickly blend the two together. Okay, and now it's time for the blood tears. So I'm going to take I'm going to take a red lipstick and paint that on. Okay, so I'm actually going to take a red pencil and just sketch out where the blood is going to be. Half the cheekbone. And then kind of collect closer to the mouth. The pencil's just kind of like a guideline. It's really actually not working that well on me. I'm going to use a lipstick, but it's going to be like a wet, glossy, sticky lipstick. And I'm wearing a t-shirt, so I don't want it to ruin my t-shirt as I'm taking it off. So I'm going to take my t-shirt off now while I can. So I'm going to be taking this lipstick. It's just like a red lipstick, but I believe it has some like little gold shimmers in it or something, because there's something in it that just makes it look really nice. So I'm going to use this and paint it on with the old faithful little lip brush I was using just before. This one. I am fully ready for this to like ruin my wigs. I'm really liking how this look is coming on though. Now it's ready for the stones. So I have a selection of red gems and I'm going to just stick them on. Okay, are we done? I think we're done. Cool, so here's the finished makeup look. I'm going to change into a wig and an outfit. I don't have feathers. I don't have a feather outfit. I'm not about to make one or go out and buy one, so I'm literally just going to throw on a wig that's similar in a white dress. I had a wig that was a lot like the one she has, but as happens to a lot of my wigs, it inevitably got cut into a bob. So I'm going to just make do with another blonde wig. So, BRB. Ta-da! Here's the final look. Here's the hair. It's blonde and it's centre parted, so basically it's the closest thing I could get to the hair. She has no feathers, whatever, use your imagination. We're not talking about that though, we are talking about the makeup. Here's the finished makeup look, and like, you know, I threw some sort of like dress on. It's actually a wedding dress, but... So, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoy how I look right now. Hope you're liking it. Let me know if there's any other looks you want to see me do from this whole season. Let me know if you have any thoughts about this season, because I'm enjoying this season. I think it's a really good season so far, and it's really fun, and there's so many looks to do. What am I thinking? I was thinking of doing like a Dusty Ray Bottoms look possibly, but let me know what you'd like to see. Just talk to me, and also share this video. If you liked it, you know, show it to other people. Show it to Aquaria, for God's sake. I could do with some of that social media. But that's all, actually. Check out my other videos. I have a lot of other videos about drag and makeup and tutorials and, you know, all that kind of zhush. So, in the meantime, subscribe if you haven't, like this video if you haven't, or if you don't want to, you don't have to. I'd like it if you did. But otherwise, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye!